Well, welcome to this week's Seventh Tackle. This week I'm with Eugene Seddon. How you going,
Hey
Eugene?
Tony, how are you? Good, thanks.
Yeah. So, mate, we'll go way back in history.
Yeah,
Where are you from?
from New Zealand originally, but grew up in Toowoomba. We moved to Toowoomba when I was 9 years old. So,
Yeah, and you were only 9, so you played a little bit of footy over in New Zealand as a young kid?
just the 1 year.
Yeah.
Just the 1 year. Got into rugby league because my best mate at the time played rugby league, and and that's how I
And you're
came up.
North
in the game.
Island?
From Auckland.
Yeah, mostly league up there. Fair bit of league, I mean.
Yeah, but obviously, from New Zealand, I come from a big rugby union family, and
Yeah.
for the first 3 years, my dad wouldn't come watch me play
Yeah.
league, but now
Yeah.
but he loves it now.
Yeah. So you came over to Toowoomba, played junior footy?
Yeah, it was a South junior.
Yeah.
Coming over, I supported Balmain at the time,
Yeah.
so I wanted to play for the Tigers. And
Yeah.
South junior there. So
Yeah, I know one other person that went for Balmain, but that's about it. So you and that other person, two people.
Yeah.
How old were you when you cracked A grade?
18, back in '99, so a
And
few years ago now.
South?
No, All Whites.
Yep.
I went over to All Whites because I went to St Mary's. Was there and got to play with like Dave Anderson and Don Saunders and players like that who you sort of used to look up to, like
legends.
From the legends from the original Q Cup winning side that beat Redcliffe in '96. So that was a big buzz for me to make to say I could play with those players.
Yeah, and then you went from Whites too.
Yeah,
Pittsworth.
Moved out to Pittsworth. Had 5 years out of Pittsworth there with Chris McEwen. They were very enjoyable years. Like we won the premiership our third season in, which was really good because the majority of the side we finished I think second last my first year there, and we won the competition 3 years later with pretty much the core group that we had from that group. So we came up and stump developed us.
Coaching development.
Yeah, and from a personal point of view, like Chris McEwen was a big influence on myself as a player.
Yeah, and then after Pittsworth, went over to Valleys.
Yeah, went to Valleys. Like Gus was there. He'd asked me a few times to go over to Valleys, and I kept saying no. But then, I was in town, and I used to go to school with Gus and Ned.
Yeah, they were St Mary's boys too.
Or St Mary's. So, I had that connection there, and I went over to Valleys, and obviously we had a really good run there. And Gus was also a big influence on myself as well as a player.
Yeah. So going back to that Valleys era, it was an amazing era. Hey,
was in hindsight and looking back on it now, to obviously be a part of all those premierships and that long run that we had was something special, which I don't think will happen again. But it wasn't so much the premierships. I think it was just the group that we had. The mates, and we obviously we're a very well drilled and structured side with some very good players. Looking back on things now, you don't realise how lucky you were.
And from everything that I've heard, wasn't based too much on money or anything like that. It was just blokes wanted to play for the club, didn't they?
Yeah, well, obviously talking about Gus, he was a person that you wanted to play for.
Yeah.
Not only would he give 100% on the field, but he was the type of person you used to look up to off the field as well.
Yeah.
And I guess that sort of made you want to play on the field for him even more. And obviously we had some key players in different positions, Gus at the back, Ned, Matty Duggan, Andy Farrell. That's not a bad spine to work off. And then us forwards there, and we had some good edge runners in Josh Shereen, Jake Cooley. So no, I wouldn't say it was obviously not the money. Well, if there was money, I never got any. And it was just something to be special,
good culture,
be a part of.
Yeah. And how Highfields now, hey?
Yeah, now Highfields
second year,
captain coach last year, and that was enjoyable. It was good to sort of get a new club up and running, and but I'm not coaching this year, just playing, and this will be it though this year.
But looking back to your whole era of playing, who's guys that you really had a lot of respect for as players?
Look, Ned Murphy was, there's always, everyone always says, how come he didn't play NRL and everything like that, and I guess I can say that as well now, but he was always a very classy player, he was your typical halfback. He'd probably give it to the opposition as much, and he'd mouth off a little bit more than what he could. He'd always bite off more than he could chew. But no, he was always very talented, and Gus, I always thought, but it was a bit sort of funny with them too, because I think they complemented each other as well. I don't think Ned probably would have gone as well if Gus wasn't there, and vice versa at the same time. So they really complemented each other, but you sort of can't really go past them too.
And how old are you now, Eugene?
34.
34.
Yes.
And Gus?
He's 33.
33.
Yeah, so he's only a year younger than me.
Yeah. That's strange because he doesn't look a year younger, does he? He's a bit more bashed up around the nose.
No, he's like a bit of a 40-20.
Yeah.
He always has been. Like, even when he was 20, he looked like he was 40.
Yeah.
But no, Gus, he yeah, well, he hasn't. Well, I'm still going, and he's not. So
yeah, retired early. So did Ned. Is Ned's younger than you too, eh?
Ned's younger. Yeah, they just
Yeah.
I think they're just a bit soft.
Yeah. So you'll crack 300 A grade games.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
possibly.
Have to, hey. Yeah. So one thing I always wanted to ask you, like this bloke Richie Lee, one of my mates, and we played during that era, mid '80s to mid '90s, and Richie gave you the biggest compliment ever in saying that you remind him of Robbie Reeves, who was a real gun second rower, locked forward during that era, and saying about foot movement before the line, like you just do a little bit of a jink and a step before you get to the line. Is that something that you just came to you, or did you actually practice?
I guess probably not being the biggest forward around. I sort of, obviously can't, I sort of have always prided myself on being a little bit fitter and a little bit more agile than a lot of forwards. Like, they might have it over me the first 5 minutes physically, but then, or 15, but then when they start tiring, that's when I believe I have a little bit of a bigger motor. But at the same time, I know, physically I just can't run over the top of like someone that's 110 kilos. Using my footwork is probably something more of a survival thing than a skill, maybe.
Yeah, mate. So this is your last year?
Yes, definitely.
And finished with Highfields.
Yeah.
But over the years, you played a fair bit for Central Division.
Yeah. Well, it used to be the Southwest side.
Yep.
Obviously going through in my 20s there, it was with Southwest, but then they obviously formed into the Central Division and had 3 years there. So. And
played again.
Yeah, went this year. We didn't go too well though, unfortunately. We come up against Brisbane and North Queensland, who are traditionally powerhouses. But in saying that though, we were probably 10% off the mark, I thought. But and you made Rangers a few times, Eugene? Yeah, I was lucky enough to make Rangers there 3 times. Even went to New Zealand and played against the New Zealand residents side, who had Cooper Vuna and Sonny Fye and a few Warriors players in there. So that was, and got to face a haka. So that was a bit of a buzz.
Yeah.
There was we were in that game until the kick-off actually. So they were giving us a bit of a touch-up that night.
Yeah, that was a whole New Zealand.
Yeah, from the Barter Card comp.
Righto.
Yeah, so it was New Zealand's premier residents team, and
tough ask, hey.
Was a tough ask, but a really good experience.
Yeah.
So
so Eugene, just looking at really good young promising blokes in the comp now.
Yeah.
From Highfields and other clubs.
I'd probably identify Shawnee Hamill from Highfields.
Yeah.
He had a few years there in the 20 system with the Clydesdales, and you can see he's benefited from that, bringing that to club footy, and he's a good up and comer. I believe Jackson Green is a very good, promising young player that, could possibly find himself in a Rangers jersey. I've been impressed with Ryan Stevens this year, Valley's halfback. When he played us, I thought he just controlled the game really well.
Yeah. So Eugene, greatest influences during your career?
Greatest influences would be definitely Chris McEwen from a time out at Pittsworth, and he really took my game to another level.
Yeah.
Which really helped. And then going to Valleys, obviously Gus was a great influence on me, and he probably turned me into a front rower because I was always a back rower.
Yeah.
So I'd say them two were probably the greatest influences on me. I don't know, maybe I just responded well to people with less hair. I don't know, maybe Bruce Willis should have coached me maybe.
Yeah.
So
when I was managing,
Gus looks like him though.
When I was managing the rep side, you had a lot of respect for me too, hey?
Oh yeah, no, you did a great job.
Yeah,
I think that's why I got in the central side this year.
Less hair. That's it. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So if you're looking at top 5 this year, so we hope Highfields go through and make the 5. They're outside chance.
Yeah, look, we're an outside chance. We're in a bit of a hole at the moment, but mathematically we're still, destiny's still in our own hands. So, we just got to.
Who else do you reckon?
Oh, look, obviously got to put ourselves in there. Waddles will definitely be there. Waddles, Gatton, I'd say South, and I'd say Dolby. But I think Warwick are definitely in the mix there as well.
Yeah, and that's what's really good about the competition, isn't it? That there's sides right down. The sides that are on 10 mathematically can still...
even 8, even Oakey and Pittsworth, could still have a chance. Obviously, they've got to start winning games and not losing or many, I don't think. But but that's just the wonder of the comp this year, and it was like that last year as well. Just how close it was, and yeah.
Right, mate. Well, thanks very much,
All right,
Eugene.
Tone.
Keep the old body together for the rest of the year. And
yeah. No, I'll hopefully go well and finish off my playing days and go all right. Hopefully.
Good luck, mate.
Cheers, mate.